You are listening to Retire Texas Style, the podcast. We appreciate you joining us. If you are still trying to figure out the stock market, welcome to the party. I think we all are. An economist, David Rosenberg, he tells CNBC, don't waste your time.
The market takes off for whatever reason. And then you get the analysts and the economists and the strategists scurrying around trying to fit the narrative into the price action. Sometimes the stock market's going to do what it's going to do. We all know that the market is this malevolent beast, does not always respond to valuations. It's not a timing tool. It doesn't always respond to the fundamentals. It just sometimes takes a head of its own.
So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, it sounds like it's a beast that we don't really want to mess with. So are we missing something here?
You know, Jess, it was really interesting. Back in 2008, I had a gentleman come see us, and he was going to retire. And we kept on saying, you dollar cost averaged in the market, so you need to dollar cost average out of the market. He waited right up. He was going to retire in about 2 weeks, waited right up and had the big correction that one day in 2008. And then he sold that day. If he would have waited a day, he would have never lost that. But he ended up working 5 more years, Jess, because of that one trigger mistake that he made. So I think when people try to outthink the market, it doesn't work. We have a lot of people come to see us, Jess, worried about the market. They've made a lot of money, but they don't want another 2008 correction. For most people, it wiped them out and it took them years to recover. So a lot of people come to see us, Jess. We have a strategy for the market that we think really makes sense. So let's just say today you have your money in the market, and our strategy, a year from now, you measure what is the movement in that strategy. And so the cap, it's with the Standard & Poor's 500. So what is it today? What is a year from today? The cap is 11.5%. So if the S&P makes 13, you still only make 11.5. But the great news is, back in 2022 last year, the S&P was down 19.65, 19.7%. Let's call it 20%. Last year, so many people lost so much money in the S&P. The great thing with our strategy is zero was your hero. You would not lose a penny. So, if a lot of analysts say the S&P will be negative again this year, but the great thing is you won't lose any money in our strategy, but you can make up to 11.5% per year. So we just think that's a way to kind of hedge your bet to make sure that if the market moves positively, you get a good return. Are you going to make 22 and 23%? No. But if you look at the market and you look at some of the years, it has huge swings of huge gains, but then it has huge swings for losses. So what you're doing is you're mitigating the risk, but getting a great amount of the upside of it. So I think that's just a great strategy we've used for lots of our clients. So if that's something you're looking for, how to control the market, call us at Hoyle Financial Day. Let's sit down and look at your exposure. See if you have too much exposure to the market. To look at, if we had another 2008 in the next year or two, what would that do to the retirement that you've always dreamed of? Call us. That's a complimentary review. We'll be seeing folks in Amarillo, Lubbock, Midland, Odessa. And I really think we could help you make sure that your money will be there when you need it.
When it comes to saving for retirement, it seems we are always told the more you put in, the better. So it seems that maxing out your 401k each year is a no-brainer. But then I read an article on the Motley Fool Financial website that said it's overrated. So Steve, do you agree with this? And why is that so? Is there a better place to put your money?
Jess, what I say is, there's, of course, probably much better places to put your money, but would you do it? A lot of people don't have the self-discipline to start saving. What happens so often is people are young, they're out of college or just in the workforce, they, start their first job, and they say, do you want to sign up for the 401k? It has a 3% match. Well, of course I do. And I think it gets people in the habit of saving money, Jess. I think it's so important. There's a lot of misnomers about 401ks. For the last 30 years, you always heard when you retire, you'll be in a lower tax bracket, and that'll be a better time to pay those taxes. Well, that's really never worked out. And I think the other thing about the 401k is there's lots of fees. But I think first and foremost, you need to look to see if your 401k has a match. And if it does, you need to be taking advantage of that match. For a lot of people, Jess, I think saving with the 401k, it's not enough. For 2023, you can save $22,500 per year. Or if you're 50 and older, you get the 50 and older makeup, and that gives you up to $30,000 a year. Jess, I see a lot of people these days that are saving 20 to 25% of what they make for retirement, and it really works. There's so many ways to save, Jess. There's so many things you can do to make sure that when you get ready to retire, that money you need is there. But, I also love to tell people, if you have a bunch of money in your 401k, think about Rothing that. It's to take care of those tax situation. There's just so many things you can do. But most of all, save. That's what it's really about, Jess. So as we talk about the 401k, if you don't know if that money will be there when you need it, if you've saved enough for retirement, call us at Hoyle Financial. Let's sit down and do a 401k x-ray analysis for you and figure out, are you on the track for retirement? Is your 401k taking on way too much risk? Maybe you have too much in bonds with the rising interest rates. Whatever those are, pick up that phone and call us today. Let us sit down, get to know each other, and really figure out your money. Knowing how your 401k is performing and how much risk it's taken on is really a cornerstone thing to do when you're getting ready for retirement. Call us.
Steve, any last words for folks that are maybe on the fence about calling today or even just getting started on their very own retirement planning?
Jess, it's about the Hoyle difference. Sitting down with our team or doing a Zoom with our team or starting out with a conference call and really figuring out what's important to you in your retirement. We can tell you what we think is important, but it's not what's important. What's important is how you visualize retirement and making sure you've dotted all the I's and crossed the T's to really have a plan in place. Jess, for the last 3 decades, I've had so much fun watching my clients retire and all the really neat things they've done. But the one thing that they all have in common is they have a plan, they planned well, and then they're enjoying retirement. So let us do the worrying and let you go out and do the living.
Thanks so much for joining us for Retire Texas Style, the podcast. Get more details on the website, retiretexasstyle.com.
Hoyle Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and/or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Bonus annuities may include higher surrender charges, longer surrender charge periods, lower caps, higher spreads, or other restrictions that are not included in similar annuities that do not offer a premium bonus feature. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Hoyle Financial Group, Texas Insurance License 1719183.